Welcome everyone. We are Mike and Jen from Fever Creative.
Hi everyone, thanks for listening. This is our first podcast, so we apologize. It feels super weird.
If you haven't seen the first episode of Devoted, go watch it.
Right now.
Right now.
Push pause, we'll wait.
I wanted to apologize. We didn't have the best condition to record audio. We were at the Kikoa store by Waikiki Beach. We were trying to find a cool spot to film the interview.
Visually appealing spot.
Exactly. Went to the beach in the morning and realized it was pretty cool. Went back the afternoon. Unfortunately, we didn't anticipate that there would be obviously traffic.
You might hear a Harley-Davidson convention drive by, a Camaro. All the leaves are blown on the beach. We'll do better next time.
Please subscribe, follow us if you like it, because there is definitely more episodes coming.
We always want to keep the content free. However, we do need your help. Please donate. Go to our Patreon page. Even $1 helps. There's different reward levels. It's really cool.
Give us your feedback. We would really appreciate it. Tell us what you think about it. As much the podcast than the short. And so here's the podcast.
Jiu Jitsu is my saving grace. Changed my whole life.
Yeah. Jiu Jitsu is my whole life. So, okay, but
just one
I'll
sentence.
try to make it small.
Just one sentence.
I'll try to make it small. One sentence.
My name is Raquel Canuto. This is my husband, Renato Canuto. You can introduce yourself.
I gotta introduce myself
Yes.
too. So introduce yourself again. Let's go.
It's just talking, right? Just say your name. I already did mine. I did mine.
Just my name is.
Yeah, just say my name.
Okay. My name is Renato Canuto. This is my wife.
I met Renato for the first time in 2015. He would come twice a year from Brazil to for the Pan Am's and World's Camp. So that was the first time that I met him. But I didn't he was 17 years old, I think. Were you 17? I think he was 17, and he had he didn't have all of this. He was just he had braces and he had glasses and he had a goofy haircut. Do you remember? So he came the next year for the Pan Am's, and he was a brown belt, and then he had all of this. Now he was a little bit bigger and grew up a little bit. So yeah, he came for the Pan Am's, and he was trying to stay till the Worlds. So our coach at the time, he had asked him to come and stay at his house. So he came to stay for 3 months, to prepare for the Worlds. So we all kind of got together a couple of days after he got there, and we all just went to hang out. I kind of felt bad for them because they had just moved. They had just came to my coach, and my coach had just moved. So he didn't have anything in his house. He didn't have a bed. He didn't have nothing yet, Wi-Fi. And I was man, they don't even have service for their phones. Yeah, he didn't have anything because he was supposed to just stay for 1 week. And he just brought a little bit of things. He didn't have nothing. So it was still cold there in Las Vegas, and so one of our friends was off of work and he had a pool at his house and stuff. So I was let's just all go hang out. The start of our relationship is not romantic at all. It's not romantic at all. Because I was kind of he was getting out of something and I was kind of getting out of something bad. And I was just was ready for something different, And I was here's this kid, he's 19, he's going to be here for 3 months, let's see what we can do. So yeah, that's how it started. He asked we were gonna go take a shower to go get us. He asked me to to share the shower with me. It was just a joke. It never happened though. But after he said that, I was kind of oh, okay, we're on the same, the same page. But then it was 2 days later, he came to my house and we stayed up all night talking. We stayed up till, no, I think that night we just stayed for we stayed up all night talking. This is 2 days later, just 2 days later. And then he came again the next night. And the same thing, we stayed talking till like 4 in the morning. And it was like the exact same person that I was is what he was, you know, like we both came, you know, to Las Vegas looking for something more. And I was older than him, but we were both kind of in the same place in our career where he kind of, like, he felt like he had outgrown where he was, and I came to Las Vegas, I felt like I had outgrown where I was, and we were just like trying to do whatever we could to get to where we wanted to be, you know. So when he came, he was like kind of in his last, like, just, okay, like came 4 years already trying to win the Worlds. He didn't win. Like would get close, you know, like second, third, like never win. Get out in the quarterfinals or whatever it was. So when so like we bonded really fast. I think it was like he kind of like a week later or so, because I would take you back home. Like maybe a week later, he started sleeping over, and then like I would sneak him back. Like we were trying to keep it a secret, you know, in the beginning, and like I would sneak him back into the house early in the morning so he could take his stuff to like go to the gym from there. And it was just going on for a couple of weeks, and then finally
coming in to talk to our coach's sister.
Yeah.
And I would jump out of the gate on the side.
Yeah. It was like so stupid. Now that I think about it, I don't know why we were trying to keep it a big secret, you know? And then I think like, yeah, like after a week and a half, he was pretty much like living with me. Like he went home maybe twice to our coach's house to sleep. And yeah, he just pretty much, you know, so for that 3 months, we just trained, ate, slept, trained, ate, slept, like went to the gym, drilled together. And like, it was like immediate, like he knew, I think I was just too scared, you know? But right away, he was like 2 weeks into all of this, he was like, let's get married. Let's get married. And I was just like, you're 19, you know, you don't even know what you want, you know? And then, like over that training camp, we just get like, everything was just felt right, you know? We both went to the Worlds. I went to the finals, I lost in the finals. And then I went to the Open, I got third. I lost in the semifinals. But it was like the next day he went and he won the Worlds. So he had 6 matches, 4 submissions, like killed it, you know? So for him, like after the Worlds, like we're getting married, like you are the difference. You're the difference. Like I came all these other years and never won. We're gonna get married. And at this time I was kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna get married. Like, okay, you know?
But first, I came without like no money at all. I had no money on me. So in the beginning, I would make like $35 a week. And like she pretty much like adopted me, right? Like she took me to her house, and we would like go train together early. Like we'd get 1 hour before, we would drill together. Like already thinking about the competition in 3 months. And like, so like the whole thing was magical. That 3 months, I wish you could like I would like do anything like to just relive that 3 months. Like we were definitely super happy after that for sure. But like it was a magical time of like, at least for me, like of my life, like of our lives. We were like, I don't know, we found the piece that was missing, you know? Like, so we pretty much just ate salad and chicken till we couldn't do it anymore. Raquel didn't have much money in the savings because we both did the same thing, right? We were like just here to train and compete. So we were not like really working, just teaching kind of thing. So that's one that I always joke about too, like I always kind of mention. Because I remember like I would get paid like $35, and then after a little bit it was like $70 a week. So when I would come, I would get the money and we would go to the supermarket, and I'm like, that's cool, I pay you today. And then she's like, no, keep your money. And tomorrow you bring me to the movies. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these little things, I was like, I then when everything happened, like in the words, like when she fought, the way she fought, that she would just like make sure, but like she fought really good, you know? And so it was just like everything that we have been talking for those last 3 months happening, and then the next day I won, and then but it wasn't really like that. It was just like, okay, like we did it, you know? Like we talked about, and we worked together, did everything like I don't know. I found literally like the piece that was missing. That's all there was.
Like, this is what our whole life can be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about before. I didn't know where I would end up, but I always I never imagined really myself staying in Brazil for too long. Just because I don't know, like I have been in the United States before, and I have competed there before, and I knew that the things are changing. Like things are changing. Like United States, like is the place that the biggest names are now, like teaching and like making their lives here. And I don't know. So I don't know if it would be here or if I would end up going to Europe or something. Like, but this would be like in my head the day I will have a gym or something. But I end up just moving really because of, I don't know, like just a tryout, just like a 3 months. So like far from family, far from everything I know, and just train. I got in Jiu Jitsu when I was a kid still. I was 8. I tried karate before. I tried judo. I was doing like judo for a year. And it wasn't really like, I didn't really love it, but I was trying, you know, like I like it, I was trying. And then my dad always did jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu, that's kind of what I really wanted to do, but we didn't have a kids program at the time. So as he got his black belt, he got invited like a year later, I think. He got invited to go teach in a place, like in a social project. So it was like a government thing, like for poor kids and stuff. So I was I went for the first time to train under my dad at that gym, and then the first day we had like one lady and one boy that, and it was just like funny, like to look back then, like when we started from where we came, and like jiu-jitsu just kind of changed my whole, like even my family's life, you know. My life, my dad's life. My dad used to be a mechanic for like 20 years, and after 4 years later, like when he was teaching, he wasn't making money enough yet, but he was like unhappy with his job, so he quit his job. He was like, I'm gonna do it full time, and we'll figure out, like I'll make it happen, you know. So he was actually like, he got happier, you know. He was doing what he loved. I was with him the whole time since I was a kid, so it was cool like to grow up like a little bit closer to my dad and going everywhere like to compete. And yeah, but I think I end up staying really, I don't know, jiu-jitsu was just matched it with me, I feel like. Yeah, I always wanted to be a fighter. I always liked to watch the cartoons of the fighting stuff, the action movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and all those kind of things. So yeah,
I started training jiu-jitsu because my dad is like one of the pioneers for MMA in Hawaii. So I grew up around martial arts. He wrestled in high school. He started fighting MMA. Like he had won like the first ever event ever put on here in Hawaii. It was like a 8-man tournament in a bar. There was like no rules, no time limit, you know. So it was just something I grew up around. But I was like the least likely to do it. Like I was so uncoordinated. Like I was almost like embarrassing to my family. They didn't want to let me wrestle and stuff, you know. Or like so my brother and my sisters all wrestled, and I didn't. They like didn't let me. But I thought that they were just like, oh, you don't have to train, you know. Like it wasn't until later I was like, they didn't want me to wrestle, you know, because I was so horrible. But when I was 10th grade, I started wrestling. And then I wrestled 3 years in high school, and then I got a scholarship to go wrestle in college. I wrestled 1 year in college, and then I was like going to transfer to a different school because that year I'd made All-American in college, so they offered me a better scholarship somewhere else. But during the summer, like some things had happened. I ended up like staying home. I didn't go back, and I started fighting MMA. I had like a bunch of losses by submission. So it was like in 2012, the end of the year, my coach at the time, he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So he said, you're going to take 1 year off, you're going to put the gi on and just train in the gi. And I was just like, because I hated like, I'd like trained a handful of times in gi, but not like anything serious over that 3 years that I was fighting. And I was just like, okay, well, like I listened to him because he was my coach, and he was someone I really admired. I was like, okay, like whatever you say, I'm going to do. So I started just training in the gi. I think this was in like October or November of 2012, and then there was a big tournament coming here in the beginning of the year in like February. So he said like, hey, if you want to go compete, go compete. So I had no clue like what the tournament was about or anything, but it was like the big tournament now that they have is other than the Worlds and stuff for IBJJF is the World Pro. But back then it was like the 4th or 5th year that they were having it. So they had a trials here in Hawaii. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go do it. You know, so it was like white and blue belt together. I was a white belt at the time. And I won my division, and then I went to the Open. There was 4 matches, and then I ended up winning the Open too. And then you won a ticket to go to Abu Dhabi to compete. So that was like, that is what changed my life, was like doing that tournament. I had no clue what I was doing. Like I just went there, like double legged everyone, arm barred them, double legged them, arm bar. Like I did like 5 matches. You know, I had 6 matches. I did like 5 matches. And then like, oh, okay, won a ticket to go to Abu Dhabi, okay. So a couple months later, I went there, and like I just saw from close like how big jiu-jitsu was, you know. Like at the time, like I had no clue who anyone was, you know. And I went there, and I was like, wow, like unless you're in the world of jiu-jitsu, like you don't realize how big it is, you know. So from like I'd watched like Bushesha fight, and like I think Braulio was fighting that year too. So it was just like all these big names, and you know, I slowly go and like read about them and look them up, and then I start watching videos. And like when I went there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the Worlds. You know, it was like 2 months later, I think, the Worlds after the World Pro. So like that was like those months like changed my whole life, because after that it was just like, I think it was like the lifestyle, the people, how different they were from like MMA fighters. There's like a lot of ego, and a lot of like, they were just such different people, you know. So that's how I like really got into jiu-jitsu, was because of that. And when I really realized I could make a life from it is when he and I got together. Because it was always in the back of my head, like, oh, I'll be a black belt one day, I'll open a school. But it was just like an idea, and I was like, I had no clue like how I was gonna make it happen, you know. But I think when he and I got together, it was when I was like, okay, this is like, I was a purple belt still at the time, but I was like, okay, like we can do this, you know. Like I think this is like, he was like helping me like every day to become a better competitor, a better like jiu-jitsu fighter. So I was like, okay, now this is like coming to life. Like it's not just an idea anymore of like, maybe I want to do this, and it forced me to like put more effort into it, you know.
Like since I was young, I wanted like to make a life out of it. Like since I started competing, since I competed the first time, I felt the adrenaline, the energy, and I like it. So that's kind of always like driven me, and I wanted to do it big, right? I always watched a lot of UFC and all this kind of stuff. So I wanted really like to be like an MMA fighter in the future. My uncle was a Muay Thai coach. My dad was a Jiu-Jitsu coach. So like everything was programmed to, you know, to build me as a fighter kind of thing. But the more I did Jiu-Jitsu, the more I saw that like, okay, Jiu-Jitsu, I really want to be one of those guys, you know. Like Buchecha came from my city and everything, so I can't. I had like a bunch of people that I would look up to, and I wanted to be or to do as big as they did. But till then was like just a selfish kind of idea, you know. Like all these sports, like sports that we do, we fight on our own, right? It's not like a team thing. It's not like, and even in teams, I guess like everyone to do the best they can on their side. So for me, that I never like really made sense. Why would I deserve to be this? Why me? Or like, so that was like kind of something hard like to get in my mind, and like, okay, why am I gonna make it, or what I fight for, you know? So when we got together and after I won the Worlds, that's what I told her, because that was something that I looked for my whole life, to win like the Worlds, just to prove to myself that was something that I could do it, you know? I kept like saying that I was going to do it and training and getting myself to go and get it. And then when we finally did, I knew what changed, right? Like she changed everything, like my perspective, the way to look at things, and the energy. Like we both living together, and like no bad energy at all, you know. No, was just like both of us, literally was both of us doing the same thing. We both had like a good, we were in a good time that I don't know, we just kind of lived up by ourselves. Like we trained with everyone for sure, but like we were in our own world, like living a dream, like during that whole camp. And then after that, it was just, I told her, like after we got married and everything, that was what I felt like I wanted for my life. So after we got married, I told her that if we want, what? I got stuck.
Behind that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So after I got married, we
I'm a little.
yeah, that's all right.
I think they're okay.
Yes. Yeah. So after we got married, like I even told her like, from now and on, it's like I see it differently. Like, if why we can make it, you know, why we can struggle together and we can like find a way to make it, and you were like cool with that, we'll do it, you know. Because before I would never imagine myself even getting married or having kids at all or anything like that. I always knew that like since I was a kid, like it won't belong to your life till you're older and everything is set, you know. So, but I don't know, she just changed the way to see things. So like now when I fight, I'm fighting for the best for my family, you know. I want to get back home and I want to be able to have like, how can I say, like to be able to offer more. The more I win, the more people know me, the more opportunities we might have. So it's not even about winning really, it's just like doing the best I can and never like, you know, like just doing to do it, you know. Like now it's for real, like every time we go to compete or like, that's something that she even like would joke about, like I didn't even realize, but before like every tournament there was like, they put like any kind of money on it, like $1,000, you know. Like at the time we didn't have no money, so like I would make sure I had to win, you know. So I don't know, like this drive helped me a lot. Now I see, now I have a purpose, right? Like now I fight for a purpose, fight for my family.
I think like for the both of us, like he was saying, like we're both doing the same thing all the time, you know. And I mentioned this, like he and I are kind of like at the same places in our career, you know. So it's not like one person is past their time and one, like I was older than him, but I was still like I was a lower belt than him, but I was like struggling a lot. Like we mentioned when we first got married, we didn't have anything. Like the day that we were gonna go to get married, I went on the couch and I was like crying because I said I can struggle by myself, but I'm scared to bring you into this and struggle with me. And he told me, sorry, he said like, we're gonna be fine. And he always made sure that we were fine. You know, in the beginning, like, I think in the beginning I carried us a little bit more because I was making like chunks of money at a time. But he was always trying to find privates. He was always trying to find seminars. He was always trying to like find a way. Like I said, like whenever he had a tournament that he could make money, he always made the money. He would go referee and it was like horrible for him to referee. Like everyone's saying shit to you all day long and he would come home and he'd be like hating it, you know, but he would go and do it. And then that was like just at the beginning of our marriage, you know. And like the way that I always made money was through fighting. So I always felt pressure to fight, and I haven't fought in like 10 months now, almost a year. And like he's been the person taking care of me, and which is hard for me because I never let anybody take care of me. Like I've always been the person that I never take anything from anyone, you know. So for me, he changed my whole life because like I had like before like a shitty car that I just bought for a couple $1,000 when I came to Las Vegas, and it was like to the point of like we got a puppy and she couldn't even go in the car because it was too hot, you know. And like it's like sounds so stupid, you know, but it's like we have 120-degree weather, and like I look at my life around me now, like we want to talk about like how he motivates me to be better because like I see what he's doing. Like every day I see what he's doing. Like he's 20, he just turned 22. Like he's 22. He's been in this country for 2 years, and like he has more at this point than I had when I was 22 because he's constantly like he was saying, like trying to make a better life for us, you know. So even if it seems like small things, it's like he bought us a new car recently. He got us into our own place where when we first married, we spent like the first year, almost 2 years, like living like in a house with a bunch of other people because we had to live like minimally, you know. But it was at the point where it was hard because it was affecting our marriage and it was affecting me because I'd get stressed out because I'm the person like running the house and trying to make sure it's clean and getting people would just stay for 6-month leases so they'd be in and out, or sometimes it's like 3 months, or some people don't have money on time and we have to pay for it, whatever it was, you know. So recently I was like, we just need to get our own place, you know, and like we didn't know how we were going to do it. Like we didn't have like a proof of income. It's like, okay, like we have all this money here, but how did you guys get it? Do you guys have jobs? On paper, you guys only made this much money. So it was like a stressful time. Like so that's why like I constantly tell him thank you, because I'm older, you know, and I didn't have my shit together when we got together, you know. But it's like every day I like look at my life around me and I'm like, I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for him, you know. So I think that like seeing everything that he does pushes me to want to be better or to do better. And it's funny because whenever we go to tournaments, we'll get like the same result. Like we go to the Worlds and I win gold, and then he's like, okay, I'm not going to be the one that screws up the day for the family, you know. So like he goes and he'll go and win the Worlds with me, you know. And then like even that was the Nogi Worlds, like the regular Worlds, I went and lost in the finals. Then he'll go and lose in the finals too, you know. But it's like we're always like pushing each, but like, you know, even to get there, like the first day I had all my matches, so they run the girls all the way to the finals. So it was like, okay, Raquel made it to the finals. He had three more matches to get to the finals, but like he made sure he made it to the finals too, you know. So I like, to answer the question, I think that we're constantly like pushing each other to be better, to not just like settle or to, you know. And then I think that we gave up like a stable life to chase this dream, you know, like. And I think that's what pushes us, like that really, because I don't want to be homeless, and I don't want to be broke, and I don't want to be like wondering when we're gonna have money or if we're gonna be able to pay our bills. And I think that has a lot to do with like us doing like, we're not there yet, like we're definitely not there yet, but we're close, you know. Like I think what we've done in a short amount of time is just us like constantly like that idea, like not wanting to fail, like not wanting to like not have done this for nothing, because like this is the life that we're gonna like. At this point, there's no question of if we're gonna do it. It's just when we will, you know.
I don't feel like I gave up anything for it. I feel like I would give up any other thing like to do what you're doing right now. Like I wouldn't change anything really. The only but the hard part is there. Like we don't choose when we're gonna be able even like to, I don't know, to eat something that you want to eat sometimes, or to, I don't know, we don't have that time like to go out with friends, or I will pass like a year without seeing my family or more. And not knowing when gonna come the time, you know, that we will eventually be able to go over there. Not even like money-wise, like sometimes even like time, or with like the competition, the schedule, like both of us together with Jiu Jitsu and her MMA, and it's always like something else coming up, you know. We are always busy doing stuff. So like, and we like that, you know, like that's how come we have been growing so much, because we are far from anything else. We are 100% on it the whole time. Like our life is it. Like even right now, like we are forcing ourselves, like we had to force ourselves to come here and do not do much. Like it's not like we didn't do anything. Like we still gonna like teach a couple classes and stuff, but this, I think, is the first time we're having a real vacation.
Yeah.
You know?
It's our first time, like, not going somewhere and, like, training.
Or having to teach and, you know, because, like, we travel a lot and stuff, but, like, most of the people don't know. Like, most of the places we go, we're going to see the airport, the tournament, and back to the airport. Or we're gonna go and teach, like, morning, night. So in the afternoon, you go kind of pass by somewhere, eat something, come back. Go teach again, and then you leave. So like we take pictures and we try, you know, we enjoy a lot. Like no complaints at all, but
it's work.
It's work, you know. It's never like really just let's go hang out, let's go do this, let's go do that. So yeah, we have. That's why it's good. Now we have our dog, and she's at the highlight of our life right now. We just hang out at home mostly, like we always did, but like now we have the dog. She's the happiest one to see us when we get home. She's already shaking her butt, going crazy. So that that kind of helps a lot too. We have been like hitting that door like for a long time, and finally like someone answered. So we're trying to make it happen.
Before, I wanted to like represent my family well, and I wanted to like represent what my family was, you know, and which like everyone kind of knows who my dad is, and everyone knows who my brother is, and I just wanted to kind of like live up to what they were, but I'm not like they were. I'm like but what I want to leave behind is, I don't want, like I used to say, like I want to prove to the people like where I'm from, like out in Waianae, that we can be better, that we are not like the stereotypes of what like bad kids, you know, like down there it's not as bad anymore, but like like when I was in high school, it was like drugs, alcohol, violence, people fighting, and I wanted to show them that we were more than that, and we can be champions. And you know, I want to be the UFC champion, I want to be a black belt world champion, all these things, you know. But as my journey has been, it's a lot of like getting there, hitting the wall, getting there, hitting the wall. But the thing that I always do is I get up and I keep trying. You know, so I think that if I leave behind any kind of legacy, like maybe I will never be the UFC champion, maybe I will never be a black belt world champion, but I want the legacy I leave behind is showing people that you can do it. Like you don't have to be from a rich family, or you don't have to be from a rich neighborhood, or you don't have to have all the resources, but you can go and find them, and you can go and do it, and you can find a way to do it. And I just want to inspire people to try, you know, because I shouldn't be here, you know, but I made sure I found ways to get here, you know, and now I am here. And I do believe that I will be everything that I want to be. And I just, that's the legacy I leave behind, you know. It's like, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, like, you can make a way to do it, you know. And I just want to inspire people to try.
Yeah, I think same thing. Like, I just want to be able to prove to people that no matter from where you came from, no matter what situation you are at in your life, like if it has anything, that you want to do, it's never too late, and it's never like too. I started early, so it's hard to say. Like people will say, "Are you saying?" But you started early. But like my dad, he changed his whole life. He worked with mechanics over 20 years, and he couldn't stand that anymore, that job. And like our family kind of passed through like a little bit of a hard time kind of thing, you know. We instead of like drinking Pepsi, we were drinking cola. You know what I'm saying? But like we didn't even feel, you know, we were kids. Like my dad was happier, so like we were all happier and doing what you love, you know.
He changed at like 39. He quit his job and started opened an academy to teach jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
39 or 40.
It was like 40 already. So from my dad's part, my dad left his job when he was like 40, about 39. He finally he closed out his job, and he was teaching 2 places at the time. He didn't have his own place till like long time after, and then he would work as referee every weekend. He would like go work and bring me to compete. So my whole childhood was kind of like in discipline too. As was for her too. Like we were disciplined, you know. Like if there's something that can take you anywhere, I guess like it's discipline. Like if you want something, like doesn't matter how old you are or wherever you are. Like if you do what you love, you do the best you can. We pass through places that like people don't really like their jobs, and you can tell, you know. Like you enter in the store and they're like, "Hello, what you want today?" And like you already see the energy of the people, like of that person, like is already bad. So why are you even like doing something? Because you spend so many hours like working in something that you don't like, you know. We love what we do.
I think like the big thing that I can say about like my parents, like my mom and my dad, like especially my dad, because he wanted us to be better than him. So every day in Hawaiian he would say like in Hawaiian like "Hulai kanu," which is like strive for the highest, strive for the highest. Like every single day he would tell us that, you know. So not even necessarily like following his like path of what he did, but I think it's like more so like following his guidance. Like even till this day, like he still calls me to like motivate me or to like get me on track or to, you know, like as soon as we got married, like he really like let Renato like be the man in my life, which I'm sure was hard for him because we were like really close, you know, and I was the only one who chose to do martial arts, like out of my brothers and my sisters. Like they you know, chose different paths, and I was the one that like chose it for a job, you know. So with my like with that, like the last couple of years, like there has been like a little bit of a disconnect between us, but he'll like randomly call me and like remind me of like what my goals are, or like that I can do it, or that I have everything, you know. So I think that like the just that little that guidance from him is like what I think like changed a lot for me, and like just him like making sure that we always knew that we could do whatever we wanted to do. And like he always made sure like you guys can do whatever you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be. Like he constantly, you know, taught us that like how to work hard, how to like if we're gonna do something to like give everything to it, you know. So my dad's awesome, you know. Just like proving to myself that I am what I believe I am. That's like what it's always gonna be about. Before I used to like want to like I was saying, like I always wanted to like show everyone else that they could do it. I wanted to like represent my family. I wanted to represent like my community or whatever it was. But I think like these days it's just really about proving to myself that I am what I believe I am, and that's like one of the best martial artists in the world. You know, whether it's fighting MMA or fighting jiu-jitsu, like it's never about like beating that person. It's like, am I better than I was the last time I went to fight? You know, am I better than I was last year? Did I fix the mistakes I made the last time? Like, it's a battle for me to go out there and compete. Like he knows, like I'm a mess. Like I'm super nervous all the time, and people will say like, you look so confident, like you look so calm. I'm like, no, I'm just like in my head, like inside I'm a mess, you know, like going like I'm a mess. I'm a wreck before I go and compete. But even just for me to go out there and like be able to do the things I've been training, or to not even to come out winning, but to just be better than I was the last time, you know. Like my life has been like dedicated to martial arts, and it's always going to be about like being a better martial artist.
My mom wanted me to study and stuff, and I said, no, mom, like I'll be a fighter, like I'm telling you. Oh no, but you need a plan B. But I was like, no, if I have a plan B, sometimes it'll get hard, and I will end up going to the plan B. If I don't have, I rather or I will do it, or I'll do it, you know, or I'm gonna die trying. But that's what I don't know. Like I think that I need to be more than I was supposed to be. So everyone else, like I'm fighting for everyone else. Like she was saying, like it's hard to, because like she said exactly the same way that I think most of the time, like is being able to pass through it, to prove to myself, to like, you know, take my family to a better place. And then in the future, like we didn't do much of this yet. Like we never really told people about, because we still, in our head, we still like just almost there, you know. And sometimes you don't even realize, like, to like now, like more and more, like people messaging me like, wow, man, like it's inspiring to watch you, or like, hey, I remember you from when you would come driving the bike from São Vicente. So like I would riding the bike, right? So like they would say like these kind of things, like the connection with like what you represent, you know. So we literally just work hard and smart, and we keep trying, and we keep. One day I'll be able to say, look, it's worth it. Like right now I'll tell you, like it's worth it. Like we are happy, you know. We love what we do. Like we find a way, well, how you do it, but how to figure it out. I don't know. Maybe we are lucky, or maybe we just, you know, we find our luck. You know, we look for it. Like we are constantly fighting, giving our best, and not really expecting big things back. We want to be the best we can be, like in a competition and stuff. But then you come back home after that Sunday, after the tournament, and nothing really changed. Like that's just life. Like life goes, you know. Like it's what's next now. People already think about the next. So like we don't really enjoy it yet, like achievements and doing the big things. But I don't know. Like I feel like it's just It's just being better, finishing it better than I started. I started like, and a lot of people doubt it. A lot of people kind of compare themselves, and a lot of people say like, I don't know, like even in school, it's kind of weird. But like in school, I remember the teachers telling us that like most of you guys not gonna go to university. Most of you not gonna even finish school, and I don't know, like so you guys gotta give everything. Like they try to kind of give make people go right, but they're already saying bad words. You know, they're already like putting you down, like. Because you guys are already not rich, you guys are already not in like in a good school, so you guys gotta work harder. But I don't know, I just never felt that's the right way to do it, you know. Like you gotta lead by example, I feel like. So we've been trying to do our best, the best we can, and then one day we'll be able to say to people, look, just go and do it. Like no matter how hard it gets, just like keep your head strong, heart strong, and everything's gonna be all right. Like it's always like you're gonna pass through times, and then after everything is done, you're like, wow, that's why. Like you learn lessons, you know. So I feel like I'm still young, but like I feel like I grew up way more than a lot of people that I know, and I grew up way more than I would doing anything else in my life, you know. Constantly, like I catch myself like kind of like bored with what's going on, and we do so much. Like we compete a lot, we train a lot, we actually have a lot of highlights in our life, you know. But I can't imagine what I would do if it wasn't this, you know. So that's why it's hard for me like to explain what, right? Because like it's literally, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to live. And then one thing at a time, no rush. We are almost there. We know now, more and more we know, you know. Our confidence get better, and we eventually do it.
The thing about like the both of us, but I'll speak for myself right now, is that I'm a very grateful person. So I'm like grateful for everything, for a little thing. Like I constantly like tell him thank you. Like I'm always like thank you for this life, because I really mean that. Like when we got married, I was like living in a room with, I was just living in a room with like not much money. I wasn't sure. Like I just had the wanting to be, you know, like I wanted to be this great fighter. I wanted to be this great jiu-jitsu fighter, and so I feel like every day is a constant reminder for me. Like I'm always like every day I'm grateful. You know, like every day I feel thankful, and I never really have moments where I'm like looking at how far I came, because like every day I'm like in awe that I'm actually here. If that makes sense, you know. So I think like every day I feel that like I just can't believe that this is my life, you know. Like coming home this time, and I always feel like this when I come home, is like I can't believe that I used to live the life that I lived before, because like our life is simple, but it's my dream life, you know. Like I have Renato, I have Manela, I have our dog, I have like great friends. Like right now we're in such like a good place in our life, where even like when we come here, like when we left here, I remember like in the beginning missing Dewey and Jeff them so much, because even if it was just like a little encounter, it was like this energy that we didn't have in our life at the time. So like I remember like leaving here in September and like having this longing of wanting to come back, and at that time I spent time with some of my family that gives me that feeling, you know. And then but now like in Las Vegas, we have like we took out like a lot of bad things from our life, or like we took ourselves out of like a situation that wasn't healthy for us, you know. And like now we're just around good people, and just around good energy, and just around, so I feel like every single day I'm just like, man, I can't believe that this is my life. Like I'm around great people. I have like food in my fridge. I have a house over my head. I have a car to drive that has a good AC for my dog, and like I'm just like I literally cannot believe that this is my life, you know. Or even especially when we travel and stuff, or even just being here. And but like it's always good and bad. Like when I come back home, I'm just like, man, like I have like a lot of bad feelings about being here too, because I struggled so much here, you know. And it's so hard to make it here as like a young person too, especially like a single young person, you know. And like there was literally times where I had like $30 in my pocket, and I had no clue like when I would make money again. And yeah, so I feel like that literally every day I feel grateful, and like every day I'm just like even like when we lost the finals of the world, I looked at Renato, I said, Renato, we were in the finals of the worlds, the both of us, you know, like for sure it would have been amazing if we both won. And I was like, but we were in the finals of the worlds, like that's still huge, you know, like how many people came to Worlds and lost the first match or like didn't even make it to the second day, like at black belt or whatever it is, you know, it's like, you know, like I always try to look on like the bright side of things. So I'm always grateful. Like every day, like and even like that was like a big reflection for me. It was like, it was my first year at black belt. I made it to finals of the world. And I remember coming every single year before that and just like looking at the black belts like, man, like, is that ever going to be me? Is that ever going to be? And then like I came that year, I was like, man, it was me, you know, like I didn't visualize the winning part. I just visualized the being there part and made it happen. So next year I have to visualize the winning part, you know? So yeah, I feel like every day is like a looking back and being like at how far I've come, you know? Like every day I feel grateful that I'm not where I used to be.
And stuff, but like sometimes we start talking, I start thinking about stuff and I'm like, wow, like we've come a long way to get to where we are right now, you know? And it's, we are like, I think that what make a difference in our lives too, like if that's like an advice for anyone, or if I can give an advice at a young age, like be more grateful than ask for things. Like the time I stopped kind of asking, like I would talk to God a lot, like in our prayers and stuff before lunch or before bed, like I always try to remember as much as I can, like, but nowadays I'm grateful. And before I would ask for so much things, and I would ask to be in this place, I would ask to be the guy, to be the champion, and it's just not like, it's something that you gotta do it, you know, like that's on you. But like in life now, like where we at or the things we have, we had each other, like, so that already made like me grateful at that very beginning, you know, like wow, like I met something big here, like I have something big. And then we pass through, we get to meet some people, and like you gotta stop and pay attention a little bit more, like on the outside, you know. Sometimes you just focus too much on what's gonna happen and we don't enjoy really the moment. So this year we have literally, I have at least like literally enjoyed a lot of the process. I enjoyed a lot. The whole month we stayed like sleeping on a friend's couch for a whole month in California, just going back to train every day, killing ourselves, and then lifting at night, like just focusing on like getting ready for what was coming, and spending time together and feeling good, and then being there, you know, competing. Like I can't remember like the feeling, like it's hard to remember before too, like a lot of times I just fought like thinking of the final, the when the time is done and I won. But this time I was like enjoying like every second of it, you know. I was having fun, and that made a huge difference for me, because every time I could compete like this in any other small tournament, I did good because I felt good, right? And I think that that's the way that's the way I like to fight. So like I hope I can keep that. But like yeah, I'm grateful for every single moment, everything that's going on. I'm grateful to have met you guys, have met Dewey, Jeff, like I have met so much people like in this way, you know, like we're not alone. Sometimes you think like, oh, like now what we're gonna do, like we don't know what to do, and we have nobody to ask really, or we don't want to ask. Some things you don't want to like ask nobody, you don't want to, like, you know, we don't ask for help as easy as we offer, you know. So God will put people like in your life, like and sometimes that like it's just, you can't explain that, you know. So that's why like nowadays I'm more grateful, and I see things differently than I would see before. Yeah.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jen.
And we are
Fever Creative. Let's not do that.
No, that's terrible.
Thank you for listening.